Hi, my name is Callie Furstenberg, and this is my How Teachers Need to Teach based on Neuroscience. And this is for Education 2050, and this information is from Chapter 3. So there are 6 principles of neuroscience, and the first one is the brain seeks to minimize social threats and maximize opportunities to connect with others in community. So, a quote from the text is: "We cannot downplay students' need to feel safe and valued in the classroom. The brain will not seek to connect with others if it perceives them to be threatening to its social or psychological well being based on what they say and do." So, in my classroom, my goal is to create a safe and healthy learning environment for all students. I believe if a student feels safe and comfortable, they are more susceptible to learning new information and will feel more obligated to engage in class activities. The second one is positive relationships keep our safety threat detection system in check. So, a quote from the text is: "The oxytocin positive relationships trigger helps the amygdala stay calm so the prefrontal cortex can focus on higher order thinking and learning." So, in my classroom, I want all my students to feel safe. By creating a safe atmosphere in my classroom, students will have less anxiety and feel more comfortable. This allows students to retain more information. The third one is culture guides how we process information. And a quote from the text on page 46 is: "Learning will be more effective if processed using the common cultural learning aids. These include stories, music, and repetition." So, in my classroom, along with creating a safe atmosphere, I will also cater to my students' backgrounds and cultural differences. I will do so by incorporating culture differences in my lesson plan. For example, teaching students words in different languages that relate to my lesson plan, or taking interest in my students' ethnic backgrounds. The fourth one is attention drives learning. A quote from the text is: "Learning isn't a passive event, but a dynamic action. It requires focused attention, active engagement, and conscious processing by the learner." So, in my classroom, I will aim to create a fun learning atmosphere where my students will come to school excited to learn. I will achieve this by having fun activities planned to incorporate in my lessons. This will help to keep students' attention and excited. So, the fifth one is all new information must be coupled with existing funds of knowledge in order to be learned. A quote from the text is: "All learners have to connect new content to what they already know. What we already know is organized according to our cultural experiences, values, and concepts." So, in my classroom, I will consider all my students' cultural backgrounds by creating my lesson plans. For example, when creating a reading assignment, I will consider my student who is a farmer and chose a reading that connects to farming. I will do likewise if I have multiple students with similar backgrounds. And the sixth and final one is the brain physically grows through challenge and strength, expanding its ability to do more complex thinking and learning. Brain growth is stimulated when we have to figure out something new, engage in a complex task, or complete a puzzle. And that is on page 46 in our textbook also. In my classroom, students will be challenged. I will encourage my students to have a growth mindset which opens their minds to challenging problems. By challenging my students, I am allowing their critical thinking and problem-solving skills to grow. So, by creating a safe environment where all my students from different backgrounds and cultures feel welcome and comfortable, optimal learning will be in place. Challenging my students will help them grow their critical thinking and problem solving skills while obtaining new information. While creating lesson plans, I will consider my students' backgrounds and cultures to include familiar information to encourage engaged learning. Thank you for listening to my presentation.